Today I'm making Moroccan chickpea stew. This is a family favorite. I enjoy cooking things that come from pantry staples or can be pulled fresh from the garden. I also like using a full array of things from my spice rack. I've had a lot of fun with my crockpot journey lately, but my husband is starting to crave some of the things that are normally in our diet and part of our regular menu. So I thought this would be a fun one to share with you. It's also really delicious and it has good protein in it. Before we get started, I'm going to show you the full lineup of ingredients and tell you what they are as well as how much I use. We're going to need 2 cups of vegetable broth. I use Better Than bouillon. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I've chopped half of a sweet onion. This is 2 cloves of garlic minced. I've used 2 teaspoons of white cooking wine. This is a tablespoon of coriander. This is a tablespoon of ground cumin. This is 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, a whole tablespoon of brown sugar, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a small can of tomato sauce, a can of chickpeas. This is 15.5 ounces, and a can of diced tomatoes. You might notice that I put dates on that. That's when I purchased those so that I can rotate them in my pantry. We're also going to need to slice and peel a white potato. Now that you know the full list of ingredients, I thought that we would enjoy chatting and peeling the potato together. I love to make foreign food. It's kind of like having an opportunity to travel without going anywhere. And I really appreciate the spices from the Middle East and places that I have not had an opportunity to visit. I love that there's such an old culture. And I think that Americans can be very bland sometimes. Depends on what region you live in. A lot of us grew up with salt and pepper as being the only things to season our food. And I hope that I'm a little more adventurous than that. And I hope that I've instilled that in my children. I think that I have. And again, I make this as a vegan dish, but you don't have to. You should make this how you like it. And I am not professionally trained, so I may do things differently than you expect. That doesn't mean that they won't work. My training comes from being a mom and a wife. It isn't necessary to add meat to every dish to get your protein. The chickpeas have a lot of protein, and so does the potato, actually. What we're going to do next is we're going to get a big pan and we're going to add our olive oil and we'll add our onion and our garlic. Then we're going to add our spices. My kitchen is about to smell amazing. I've got a medium-sized stock pot and I've turned it on medium heat, and I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. I want to cover the bottom so it doesn't stick. And I'm going to add my onions. My husband loves this part of the day. His office is downstairs, and he starts to smell the wonderful fragrance of what's going to be for dinner. We want to give these onions just a little head start, but it's important that we don't overcook them. We just want them to be translucent and not quite caramelized. My onions are starting to become translucent, so I'm going to add the garlic. I tend to add the spices before I add any of the other things because the oil really helps to wake up the flavor. Next, I'm going to add the potatoes. And the chickpeas. We'll add the rest of our spices. And then we want to add our tomatoes. You are welcome to use fresh tomatoes if you have access to those. Next, I'm going to add my brown sugar, and you can add more or less as you determine necessary. And then the very last thing to go in is my vegetable broth. Oh, it smells good already. I can tell we are really going to enjoy this. For the very last step, I'm going to cover this and I'm going to let it simmer on low for about half an hour. While we're waiting for the chickpea stew, I put some bread in the oven to rise and it looks like it's ready to be turned on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is the dough that we made yesterday during our crockpot recipe. Remember I said that I always have dough in the fridge or the freezer and I can take it out and put a fresh loaf in the oven at any time? Well, that's what we've done here. Here's our finished Moroccan chickpea stew. I'm serving mine with fresh, warm bread. I hope you make this and I hope you love it. Bon appetit!